Good evening, everybody. How you guys doing this Friday night? Me, not doing too well. Not happy at all. I think the Knicks are in trouble, and it's abandoned ship, ladies and gentlemen. Let me get this energy up. But Coach Tibbs, I don't know what you're doing, bro. Uh, Kemba Walker started the game hot. Because of that, nobody else got touches. Nobody else could get into rhythm. Even though Kemba Walker finally came out of his shell, I guess he got that secret stuff from Derrick Rose that I've been talking about. But nobody could get into the team chemistry, into the ball movement and the offensive flow. And when Kemba Walker was lighting up with 17 in the first quarter, nobody else could score. Then comes the third quarter, where we're negative 43 in the last 10 games, something like that. And it's just atrocious how we let these teams come back into it. Kemba Walker's legs got tired. You can see it towards the fourth quarter. He didn't have no energy in him anymore because of the great first half that he had. But Mr. Julius Randle, $110 million man, you give me 10 points and 6 rebounds. RJ Barrett, I don't know what's going on with you, my friend, 2 points. This is ridiculous, guys. And then Coach Tibbs, you pull out Obi Toppin and Derrick Rose when we're up by 2 or tied the game. The nerve of you. But anyhow, guys, I hope you guys are doing good tonight. Welcome to Family Above Everything with Juby the Tubi. I'm going to bring my partner in here, see what he's got to say. Because like I said, we are in trouble.
Welcome. We have welcome Juby. We have Julius Randle once again, who's supposed to be stirring the drinks. Walker did some that. Kemba Walker did some of that in the early first half. After that, Randle was trying to take over and do his thing. He was kind of quiet. He was passing the ball a lot. Maybe he knew something we didn't know. Like he felt like he was going to have an off night, and he did have an off night. But that whole starting lineup, besides Walker, had an off night. Juby, I don't have words for this loss this evening. I'm still trying to figure it out myself. What did you see at your end?
I'm trying to find the words like you, the energy. Tonight was a rough one for me to swallow. Kemba Walker finally came out to play. But I guess Derek, like I said in the past shows, Derrick Rose probably gave him the secret stuff, and he gave him the whole team secret stuff because nobody was on it really tonight besides Obi Toppin and Emmanuel Quickly and Alex Burke and Kemba. The guys looked flat. There was no team chemistry, no offensive flow. Kemba Walker in the first quarter, where he lit it up for 17 points. But he was gassed out by the third quarter, and you could see it in his gameplay. And then the nerve of you, Coach Thibodeau. Again, you remove Obi Toppin from the game with like 4 minutes to go. We're either tied or up by 2, and you remove Obi Toppin. Derrick Rose leaves the game, which is still, I don't know why. And you inject guys who are flat on their feet tonight. I don't even know what to say, Ray. You bring it. You can speak it into the light.
Yeah, I think Rose's situation, I think he nicked something up, and I think Thibodeau saw that. Rose had 17 minutes of play. It seemed like he did something to one of his joints of his body. I'm not clear on it. He pulled him out. He brought Walker in. I could be wrong, but that's what I heard one of the announcers saying, that it looked like Rose nicked something or pulled something. Hope it's not nothing serious, but I think he took him out for that reason. And Kemba Walker didn't have the same kind of step or that bounce in the first half compared to the second half. He lost his touch a little bit. He was driving to the basket effectively, so I was impressed with that. He had a couple of key turnovers, kind of a dumb one that he was inbounding a ball, and it was tipped away by LaMelo, and he scored down the end with a foul. And look, it's no coincidence that your bench is all pluses and your starting rotations is all minuses once again. I mean, if you look at Obi Toppin plus 10, Gibson plus 6, Rose plus 15, Burks plus 4, Quickly plus 3. Now, Rose leads the team in plus and minuses. He leads with a plus 66. He leads the team in that category because every time he's on the court, he's creating something. I think Thibodeau had to do what he had to do. You can't bench your starters 2 nights in a row because what confidence are you showing them? I understand that. Barrett had one of the worst games I ever seen in my life. Julius Randle and Barrett were tied together because they both had pretty bad games. Robinson, you can sell Mitchell Robinson. I'll tell you something about Mitchell Robinson. He's a warrior. You can see he's still injured. He's fighting through some injury, and he's playing very hard, rebounding and doing a lot of things. Kemba Walker, finally, if we can get this Kemba Walker and bottle it up and have it for the rest of the season, I take this production in 31 minutes of play. He had 26 points. It was a minus 23, unfortunately. But that comes with the whole first unit thing. It's like, you pass this mad cow disease all around, and you're all contaminated with this minuses and that started rotation. And then you got Fournier. He doesn't look like the same Fournier. I think this team is just out of rhythm. I think there's too many head guys there. Like Randall wants to be the man. Kemba used to be the man. Barrett is the man of Broadway. Fournier. Look, there's a lot of Chiefs in that starting rotation that want to be Chiefs, but Randall has to do more in terms of energy. I don't know how to get through this with him. In the first half, he was passing the ball. He didn't score a point toward the end of the first half. So, I don't know, Juby. It's a lot of confusion. We can't blame Thibodeau on this. Thibodeau can only put you to practice, but when that starting rotation has been bad for the last 2 or 3 games, he has to change something up. I think we spoke about that before the show, about making some kind of trade or maybe promoting one of the bench players as a starter. We don't know, but I think Obi Topping, you can't be giving the guy 10, 15 minutes a game. This guy is something special. He had 8 rebounds and 1 block and 1 assist in 15 minutes of play. He was a plus 10 with 7 points. You have to give this guy minimum 20, 25 minutes per game, and that's what disappoints me about this evening, that a guy like Topping and Quickly are not getting enough minutes to play. Burks had a great night with 25 minutes. He led the bench with 15 points. I don't know where to go from here. We'll go over some stats. But the Knicks got outscored in that third quarter. They gave up 34 points. That was the key quarter. That's where the Knicks lost the game in the third quarter.
Yeah, and that's been the song of the last few games, if you will. It's that third quarter. They just can't seem to get it together once they come out of that locker room at halftime. And, it's just looking bad, man. Like I said, Julius Randle, he's the leader of this team. He needs to set by example. And we're just seeing some careless passes and turnovers and just no energy. Forget about the points, guys, because in the first quarter, I saw him distributing the basketball. I was actually very pleased with his gameplay in the first quarter. I thought he was doing very well, and then it's like he got tired. It's like he sat down, and he maybe he ate too much, and he just got lazy. And the whole starting team. Like I said, I'm not even gonna say that the whole team. I'm gonna say Julius Randle, Evan Fournier, Mitchell Robinson. Will give him a little pass because he's our RJ Barrett tonight. Nothing I got out of that. I just seen that they were just exhausted. I think they had Thanksgiving too early.
Listen, as much as we defend Barrett from a lot of the haters out there,
and we do
tonight, the haters are correct about him. He was pretty bad. This is back-to-back games that Barrett doesn't look good at all. I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's a confidence issue. I think they'll bounce back, obviously. And I just want to also say, Hayward just torched Barrett. Gordon Hayward torched Barrett this evening. Even on the defensive end, where you expect Barrett to play, in 38 minutes of play, he was 9 from 17 from the field. He was 4 from 5 from 3 points. He didn't shoot any threes in. He had 5 rebounds, 7 assists, 2 steals, 1 block, plus 13 with 22 points. Now, Miles Bridges in 37 points. He also put a show on Randall. Randall was not toward down the stretch. I don't know if you saw me texting you. I was just getting frustrated with Randall.
Yeah,
he was playing no defense. Miles Bridges was eating him alive.
He couldn't get the right amount of juice in his drinks, I guess. But Listen, besides, those two guys torching us, we saw a true point guard in LaMelo Ball tonight. LaMelo Ball with 12 points, 17 rebounds, ladies and gentlemen. Julius Randle, you should be ashamed of yourself for letting a guy who's smaller than you get double the amount of rebounds. Every Nick big man right now, with the exception of Obi Toppin, because he didn't really play that many minutes. The guy's a point guard, and he got 17 rebounds. He was one off of a triple double, and that's what the Knicks are missing. With Derrick Rose, we're not even talking about you. We're just saying this is what we need, ladies and gentlemen. Not 2 assists per game. On one night, you're gonna give me 25. Then for 7 games straight, you're gonna give me 4. And it's too much inconsistency. We need somebody who's gonna command this team, who's gonna lead this team. And Julius Randle, my friend, I know that you're the man who stirs the drinks, but I think it's time for you to get some other bartenders with you, because it doesn't look like you can handle it by yourself, my friend.
Yeah. It's the last couple of nights. Him and Barrett, we put them together as one. They haven't played very well. Listen, Bull in 37 minutes of play played very well. He was plus 18. Terry Rozier had a terrible first half. That third quarter, he started lighting us up. And he minutes of play.
And we wanted him, Ray. We were speaking about it in the offseason. We were saying the Knicks should get Terry Rozier. I was saying the Knicks should go after Oubre, remember?
Right.
And he lit us up too. What do you have? Right. 12 points? 12 points for Oubre.
Yeah, 12 points. I mean, he looked decent. I mean, he shot 4 from 10 from the 3-point, 40%, and 4 from 13 from the field. He had 2 turnovers, one steal, 2 rebounds. I mean, listen, off the bench, 12 points in 27 minutes. He looked good for those instants. But Terry Rozier with 18 points, he kind of he's the one that put the dagger in us. It looks like he was going to have a bad game. But the Knicks let this team come back in the third quarter and gave them the confidence. And I had a feeling. I said, the Knicks were dwindling that lead. When it was 9 points, I said, here we go. I was saying to myself, that third quarter is an important quarter. If they come out the way they usually come out in that third quarter, the Knicks are going to lose this game. I mean, look, we can't go back and start saying, oh, it's Thibodeau. But something is going on in that first unit that we can't comprehend as of yet. The Knicks were 37% from the 3-point range, 38% from the field. They were 61% from the free throw line. They missed 7 free throws. 7. If you add 7 and 96, they're a point away. Who knows what happens? Randall missed 3 out of 4 free throws toward the end. The Knicks out-rebounded them by only 2 rebounds. The Knicks had 14 offensive. They had 12, and they evened up on the defensive side. The Knicks only had 17 assists, while the Hornets had 25. The Hornets had 10 steals. We only had 8. They evened up on the blocks, 5 apiece. Total turnovers. This was a Knick killer right here. 19. Number 19. If anything over a dozen turnovers, most of the time, depending how you're shooting your threes and how you rebound, you're going to lose the game. And they scored 17 points out of those turnovers. The Knicks scored 16 points out of their 14 turnovers of Charlotte. Fast break points, they beat us 16-14. Points in the paint. You're not going to like this, Juby. 58 points in the paint for the Charlotte Hornets and only 44 for the Knicks. And the largest lead the Knicks had was 16, obviously. That dwindled down. The largest lead that the Charlotte Hornets had was 11. It has to go back to the drawing board because the Knicks has to fix that third quarter energy. And I think to fix that, the only way you can fix it is instead of having your starters come in that third quarter, you bring in your bench. That's how you solve that problem in that third quarter. You come back with energy, and then you bring the starters slowly but surely dwindle them in. You cannot have a start in the third quarter the way they did. Being outscored the way they were.
You know what's funny? Tom Thibodeau sits there and says when you listen to his meetings, he sits there and says that there's not an eight starting or there's not a bench. It's a collective 10-man rotation. So I agree with you. That's a good experiment to have. Why not in the third quarter? You know what, guys? You're gonna come off the bench. The bench is gonna start the third quarter, just to see, and so you can experiment a little bit or play with the lineup in the third quarter. You know what, Kemba? You started the game hot. We're gonna put Derek in the third quarter to start it off, and Fournier, or if RJ Barrett's having a bad night, or Obi or Julius, guess what? We're gonna put somebody to start the third quarter. The third quarter is vital, and it's becoming a very, very big problem. And like I told my chat right before I joined your show, Ray, it's time to start to get worried, guys. I know that we go, like Tom Thibodeau says, you can't sit there and say, "Oh, it's still early in the season. We can fix it." The way things are going, every single day that I've been seeing, either they need to make a right or they need to make a left, because if they continue going down that road, ultimately, we're going to be battling for I don't even think 7th place.
Well, did you notice something interesting about the Charlotte Hornet bench toward like in that fourth quarter? Guess who was sitting at that bench and doing some coaching?
Who was there?
Michael Jordan.
He was at the bench. I saw him in the skybox
in that second half. He was upset in that the way they were so lackadaisical in the first half. He made sure he sat there. He was sitting. He was talking to the players. I don't understand the general manager doing that. That's a no-no in my book. But it worked. It beat the Knicks. They came back in that third quarter. They came as gangbusters, and they were a different team. And I think Michael Jordan lit a fire up there. You know where?
I think he took our secret stuff.
I don't know who. I think they went back to Bugs Bunny and these guys and got something, because they were a different team in that second half, and the Knicks looked dead. Like I said, Gordon Hayward, 22 points, 7 assists. Terry Rozier, he chipped in with 18 points as the Hornets outscored the Knicks 34-21 in that third quarter for just their second win in the last 7 games. Remember, the Hornets was coming off a 5-game winning streak. They win the game before with Oubre's 37 points, and they seem like they're rolling again. Look, this is an interesting team of the future. You know that Mitch Kupchak is building around LaMelo Ball, like I mentioned in my programming earlier before the game. This is a team that's scary. Miles Bridges, 24 points, and he did some high flying dunks, spin moves. He said, topping, I'll top that. And he did the same kind of spin move Topping did. They have an impressive team. Look, but there's no excuse why you shouldn't beat a team like this. First of all, you're up by 16 points. You let it dwindle down to 9 at half. And in the third quarter, you would think there'll be some life. I don't understand. Juby, I don't understand it. Forget about this juice and no juice or what juice. They need to find out why they're not creating this energy. Julius Randle, Barrett, they all have to take collective responsibility. And if not, then you have to start that second unit in the third quarter to solve this issue.
I think they need to meditate at halftime. I think you need to send them your Zen for Life stuff, because something is going on in their head. It's definitely a psychological thing, because you know what they're capable of. We've seen this team when they're on, and right now the lights are off, and it doesn't look good at all. Not whatsoever. Like I said, with the exception of like Alex Burke, who played phenomenally tonight. I was very impressed with him. And Quickly and Toppin. I know Kemba Walker scored 26 points, guys, but to me, I don't really like that. I mean, I know I should sit there and say that's what we wanted, but like I was trying to say a little bit earlier, Kemba Walker scored 17 points in the first quarter. What did everybody else do? You had
I agree with you, but this is what this Knicks lineup is capable of. Each player in that team, except for Mitchell Robinson, are capable to score 20 or more points in any game, but they don't do it consistently enough. Like you mentioned, he scored 26 and nobody else did anything else. You can't have that. You have to have another player who's in double digits, like in the 20s, to make this. The Knicks could have won this game last night. Not Randall, not Barrett, not Fournier. Somebody didn't come up big for them. And you expect always the bench to bail the Knicks out? It's not always going to happen, but the bench has been the brightest spot of this team so far in the first 13 games of the season.
Absolutely. I agree with you 100%. And like I said, we're not the coach. We're not managing the team. We don't get paid the big bucks. I'm pretty sure that the team is going to have a nice practice this weekend. Because we don't have a Knicks game until Monday night.
Sunday against Indiana.
It's Sunday?
Yeah, Sunday they play in
I could
Indiana.
have. I got it Monday, November 15th. You
Oh
sure?
yeah.
I
Let me
got it
look.
Monday.
Let me look at the.
Double check. I'm not saying you're. I'm right. I say maybe even something on mine, but I got Monday, November 15th at 7:30 p.m. against Indiana Pacers.
Okay, so it's not Sunday, it's Monday. Okay, that's
Monday.
probably definitely an error on my end. I thought it
And you
was
know
Sunday.
what? I am so grateful that they have the whole weekend to just sit back, reflect, maybe get some sleep, and get that energy that they've been lacking, because something needs to give, guys. You don't put a especially on Broadway right now. You. I don't even know what to say. You're not living up to the expectations of New York City basketball right now.
This city is the hardest city to satisfy, and when things are going wrong, we're gonna let them know what's going on because I think New Yorkers, like I mentioned earlier in our show, we're the smartest basketball sports people in the world. We know our sports. We know what the team is capable. Right now, Thibodeau needs to figure this thing out. He's the coach. And I think we have our ideas, but I had a feeling, I was talking in my show previously, that I wanted quickly to start. I had a feeling that was not going to happen. And he started he went with his gut, and he's just dedicated to his main
He
guy.
he's a loyal coach. He's loyal to his veterans. He's loyal to his players, and I respect
And
and I understand that.
Kemba answered the bell. You have to admit it. He answered the bell after hearing all the criticism. So I'm very impressed by Kemba itself. I just not impressed with the overall team starting lineup. The bench, you can't say nothing about the bench. Kemba, you can't say nothing about Kemba tonight. He played. Uh, just put it this way: if Randall would have had his normal game, Barrett would have had his normal game, Knicks win this game easily. But when your leaders and Randall and Barrett, your leading scorers of the team, do not produce, it definitely becomes an issue.
Yeah.
And losing against Charlotte is not it's not the end of the world, but it's a team that they should have won. I mean, you can't have Randall only scoring 10 points and Barrett scoring 2 points. Randall scores his regular 20 points and above. We win this game tonight. We win
Yeah.
this game. But
And the
Randall is bad.
and the problem
Randall's
is, this is the problem. This is the problem I have. I don't feel that Charlotte is beat us. I don't feel Milwaukee beat us. You know what I feel? I feel like the Knicks beat us. I feel like the lack of energy, the lack of ball movement, the lack of defense is what's making us lose these games. Because in every single game, I feel like we have the opportunity to beat these guys. You know what I mean? We beat Boston. We beat Chicago. We beat the creme de la creme, if you will, of this season. And we're losing to teams like this, like Orlando. And I know they're a young team and they got a lot of talent because they're in the NBA. But I feel like we're just kicking ourselves in the pants right now, and it's not the teams that are just dominating us.
I'm gonna give, like I said, I'm gonna give this unit. I mean, we have no choice, at this juncture, what can you do? You have to go forward with this. This is your starting rotation for the rest of the year, Juby. So you have to make sure that this team gets better along the way. I think, thinking being third and fourth in the East right now is a pipe dream. I think it's more like 6 and 7 right now, and they're probably squeezing it
Hopefully,
out. But
hopefully.
let's see what happens. Knicks went on a 9-game winning streak last year. Let's see if they can up that this year. The way they're playing, I don't even see them winning 2 or 3 games straight continuously. This team has a lot of work ahead of them. That starting rotation is pretty bad right now, to say the least. If you add all these minuses up here, whoo, they'll be losing a lot of money if that money was coming. Those negatives were coming out of their bank account. Negative 18 Randall, negative 9 Robinson, negative 23 Walker, negative 11 Fournier, and negative 17 Barrett. And the rest of the second unit is no coincidence. They were all pluses. So it tells you when they end the game, they have the energy, they have the enthusiasm, and they play cohesively as a unit.
Mm.
And the first unit is not doing that. That starting rotation is lost, to say the least. They don't know their spacing. They don't know where they're at.
no identity. Not the team. The starting lineup has no identity, ladies and gentlemen. And that's the word that I'm going to keep using until I see something. Because on one night, well, every night, Julius Randle thinks he's Michael Jordan of the team. Then you have Kemba Walker who tries to do it. And nobody knows who's who and how to play with each other. In the starting rotation, not the bench. The bench, they know who they are. They're the Energizer Bunnies. They're the heart right now of this team. And, like you said, Ray, something needs to happen. Emmanuel quickly, we know that's not going to happen. But it'll be nice to see a little bit of a change. I'm not expecting a drastic change, but I would like to see something. Whether it's like we talked about third quarter, maybe changing it up with certain players, depending on who's doing good. Or maybe bringing Deuce in the rotation a little bit for a couple of minutes. Something needs to happen. You need to inject some kind of life into this starting lineup. And when they're doing good, do not take them out, coach. I don't care if you're paying the man who stirs the drink $110 million. Let him sit there and order a drink and enjoy the show, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, the Knicks lose tonight. 104-96 at Charlotte, and they'll be playing the Indiana Pacers. They're 5-8, and they'll be playing them November 15th, 7:30, which is a Monday at MSG. Let's see if we can turn around our woes at the Garden and win a game at the Garden. And the Knicks need a big game from that starting unit so bad. Yeah. And I know the Knicks fans will be supporting them, but I'm telling you that right now, that if the Knicks go into a run, the same kind of run they went in the third quarter where they're up and they lose the lead in that third quarter, believe me, the Knicks faithful at the Garden will let them know. And don't be surprised if we be hearing boos from their own fans. I wouldn't be surprised. Knicks fans are a tough crowd to deal with, and they know the situation of the starting unit. We all know they're having some weaknesses there. So I expect the Knicks to be at home, to dominate the Indiana Pacers, to dominate them. That's how you can send a statement out. Go and dominate the game from end to end, from beginning to end. If they can do that, then we can see some progress being made. But if we go lapsing back, having a lead, and let it dwindle down in the third quarter, being outscored by 20 points at the third quarter, then we know we're going to be hearing a lot of boos from the fans at the Garden.
For sure. I agree with you 100%.
Okay, Juby, with that said, you want any final last words before we depart?
Just identity, guys. That's the key word. Like I said, identity, continuity, and defense. And whatever is going on with you guys, man, Knicks, just meditate. Please find yourselves and get it together, man.
I agree. With that said, we're going to be on Tuesday, recap show at 11 a.m., 11:30 a.m. on Tuesday.
And hopefully we'll have nothing but great stuff to talk about.
Right. We'll be having a recap show. And then the Knicks play the Indiana Pacers at the Garden, 7:30 start at the Garden. We expect a win from our Knick faithful and the Knick Nation to be behind this Knick team that's going through a little struggle right now. But they bounce back because we have to let the universe enlighten us all, knowing that the best is yet to come. Juby, thanks for being on. God bless you and your family.
God bless you too, man.
It's always yet to come. Remember that, guys. Go New York. Go New York.
New York, go. Have a good night, guys.
Good night.
All right, guys. That was my brother, Zen Ray, from Zen Ray Sports TV. Please check out his stuff. A lot of great content. He does also Zen for Life. Some meditation stuff, help you with the, with yourself and meditating. Great stuff. But yeah, man, like I said, Knicks got an identity problem. Starters got an identity problem. Are they gonna fix it? Is Tibbs gonna keep being loyal to his starters? Only time will tell. I guess we'll see. But luckily, we have the weekend to kind of decompress, and coach can think about what he can do to move forward to make this a winning product. As always, guys, I want you to enjoy your weekend, enjoy your time with your family, and as always, family above everything. Peace, guys.
We are the New York Knicks. We are the New York Knicks. We are the New York Knicks. We
Here we come, league is done in 21, and the Knicks are on a run. And I'll tell you, with Tibbs, we a bit too much to handle. With Barrett, Bullock, Burst, and Randall, it's the Knicks, and we're taking back our place. Everyone's gearing up with a mask on the face. The guard's going crazy, and they're doing it for a reason. This 21 is the Knickerbocker season. You better believe the Knicks got all that it takes. We're shooting 3-pointers, and we're running fast breaks. If your defense makes a mistake, then BAM! Robbie Duncan's in your face. This is a team you don't wanna miss. We are New York. We are the New York Knicks.